Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me? Not? Okay.
Hey, Paul. Yeah.
Hey, that's Scott?
Yes, this is Scott.
Hey, good afternoon.
How are you?
Good. So I expect there'll be more people joining us, but in respect for everybody's time, I want to get this meeting started, and it's already 5:01. So thank you all who are participating. This is the this is a called meeting of the Complete Count Committee. We feel that it's necessary that we meet more frequently. We'll get to the reasons why. Certainly, we're running out of time for the census, and we want to do everything we can to maximize the time that we do have left. So we're having this meeting rather than, or in addition to our regularly scheduled meeting, but we are going to talk about the meeting schedule as well. We may have even more meetings through the end of the census period. So welcome everybody. So I'm going to share a PowerPoint presentation, and forgive me, this is the first time I've done anything like this, so there's bound to be some technical difficulties, but bear with me, we'll get through it. Let's see. Let's get to the first one. Can you all see this, the PowerPoint? Okay. So right now, just to recap where we're at, we have been seeing some good progress. The state and the county are increasing at between 1% to 2% a day. It's not, not even, but it's been a steady increase. Although, 0.1% doesn't sound like a whole lot. Understand that that represents about 370 households in Dougherty County. So, 370 times 2.5, that's a lot of people for just 0.1%. So we are getting people to sign up, but, we're looking for 100% and we're only at 57.1. So we have a long ways to go. Last census in 2010, the final response rate was 66.5. So we still have a ways to go before we can get to even what we did in 2010. And understand this is self-response rate, which means people filled out the forms on their own or did it online rather than having someone come and knock on their door. The enumerators are out in the field now, knocking on doors, and those numbers won't be recorded on this. Speaking with people from the Census Bureau, we don't really have any way of getting those numbers, so we won't know until the census is complete, really, what the extent of the whole count was. We'll only know what the self-response rate was initially. We want to get it above 66.5 so we can say that we did better than they did 10 years ago. Here's a map of the county with the census tracts divided up based on their response rate. The darker the blue, the higher the response, and then the darker the yellow-brown, the lower the response rate. And it generally corresponds with income. So you see in East Albany, there's one tract that only has a 32% response rate. It has gone up a good bit over the last week, so it's moving, but it's still quite low. There's another tract that's brown in Central Albany, and there's some light brown ones in South and West Albany. But those are all coming up. We had a lot more yellow and brown on the map last week, so we want to get it all to blue, all to dark blue, ideally. And it is moving in that direction, but slowly. So, we want to have the best count regardless of what anybody else does. But to put this in perspective, we are doing better than a lot of other communities that are similarly situated. We're ahead of Lowndes, Valdosta Lowndes, Columbus Muskogee, Savannah Chatham. Richmond is neck and neck. We're neck and neck with Richmond Augusta right now. We're both at the same percentage. So we need to get our numbers up. Important dates. The census was going to be due on October 31st, but last week the Census Bureau announced a change by reducing the amount of time we'll have to finish until September 30th. There's, well, a number of reasons for this. And they're saying that they're going to have more people in the field and they're going to give them incentives to get a better count. So they say that the month less will give us a better count, but I think it has energized the community, or it definitely has. We realize now that the end is coming and it's time for us to do what we need to. I think this was always going to happen in the last 6 weeks, but now the 6 weeks is closer than it would have been otherwise. So we've done a few things. We've done several things since the last meeting. We continue to distribute table tents and flyers around the community to various restaurants that are open, other locations where people will see them in Spanish and English. We've presented at city and county commission meetings, done media interviews on radio, or not the radio, excuse me, TV and for the paper. Information has been sent out in utility bills. We are running a drawing on our Facebook page for $25. We've had some increasing interest in that and increasing participation on our Facebook page. And importantly, we've developed a census action plan, which I'll go over in the next couple slides. The census action plan is composed of a variety of things that we're going to do over the next 6-7 weeks. And this is not a finished plan. We're looking for more input. So certainly if anybody has anything to add to this, we are all ears. But we've developed a social media toolkit, which includes some graphics and text that you can put on your social media. You can use it to distribute as talking points for meetings or to distribute to other sources that you might have in the community. We've engaged the COVID-19 task force to promote the census when they speak about COVID-19 and individually. There will be additional marketing going out in the utility bills. We developed a While You Wait campaign. The idea is for places where people have to wait, like getting a prescription filled out or waiting in line to pay your utility bill. They may be there for 10 to 15 minutes, and we're going to try and market a campaign where people are aware of the census and let them know that they can fill out the census while they're waiting. And we came up with the catchphrase, "Take 10 to help your community win." We are working with both iHeartRadio and Cumulus Broadcasting on radio and digital marketing. There's some really interesting new techniques in digital marketing. It's a little bit scary, but we all know that they are collecting data on us whenever we use the internet. So what companies do with it is they break it down by demographics, and we can request that certain demographics, especially the hard to count demographic, is targeted with this digital marketing, and they'll get sent emails. Their Facebook pages will have ads pop up. When they go online, there will be ads pop up about, fill out your census, and there'll be a link that they can click on and take them right to the census application. We are working with a company to do robocalls, so there will be phone calls made to the community asking them to fill out their census, and they'll be able to press 1 and get taken to the census phone line to do their census. City phones with messages will, rather than have music, they'll have a "Have you filled out your census" message going. Here, we also are developing a list of trusted voices. So what is a trusted voice? A trusted voice is most likely people like you. People on the Complete Count Committee were asked to be on the Complete Count Committee because you're known in your community, you're respected in your community. We're looking for people who are known and respected in the community so they can spread this message. Those are the people that other people listen to. It's fine for me to get on the radio or TV and push the census, but most people don't know me. They know their neighbors, they know their block captains for the neighborhood watch, and those are the people that they trust. They're ministers. So we're enlisting those people to spread the word. And we also need your help to enlist those people. We also are going to have more frequent complete count committee meetings like this one. They may be weekly. We may run through some things. They may be fairly short, but I'm thinking that we might need to have a weekly, at least bi-weekly check-in over the next 6 weeks. Time's running out, so even at 6 weeks, that's only, every other week is only 3 meetings. We're working to increase local media coverage, working with the TV stations and the Herald, and again, the radios. We're developing a digital ticker that will just be a little reminder for everyone that'll show how much time is left to complete your census, and it also will show the percentage of response rates in the county. So we'll have one number going up and one number going down. We're working with the Boys and Girls Club to have a variety of contests. We're looking at art and video contests, and the Sowega Council on Aging and the city and county commissioners to engage their constituents. And one other thing we're doing that's going to be pretty big is we're having a mobile sign-up, or a variety of mobile sign-up events. We are working with someone who owns a parade float, and we're going to put census messages on it and take it to a number of locations around the community, particularly in the hard-to-reach areas. And we will have the ability to sign people up for the census right there. And so we're looking at high traffic areas to get people to come on board with their count. And this is a list of what we have so far, confirmed areas that we're going to set the float up and get people to sign up. Grocery stores are going to be one of the main places that people congregate. We're going to do the TIF market on Saturday. We're looking at a couple other alternative sites too. And there's one other big announcement. The utility board was very generous and has given us $10,000 credit towards a drawing. We're going to have multiple drawings through the remainder of the time we have with the census to offer people $500 utility rebates. We're still working on the details of this, so it hasn't gone live yet. We need to figure out some of the details on how we're going to collect people's information, but the basis of it is that people who have filled out their census form show us they can prove they've filled it out by their confirmation number, and they'll be entered in the drawing. And we'll probably have 2 to 3 drawings a week at other public events like city and county commission events, the COVID update, other events where there's already something going on and media attention to it. So we'll continue to bring attention to the census through a $500 utility rebate. I think this is going to be really big. We're going to have a lot of people who are interested in it. And I can't imagine that this it will not bring up the numbers significantly. But look for that to probably, we're going to try and get it out tomorrow, but it may not be till Monday that we get the details ironed out, but it will be definitely by next week. We're going to have this going live, and we'll have our first drawing next week. So now we are at the end of the slideshow. Let me see if I can exit it. Okay, maybe that was it. No, stop. Okay, back to you all. So now we're at, I guess the last thing to talk about is money. Of the budget that we started off with last year, we have about $8,800 left. So we don't have a whole lot of money, but I don't know that, well, we want to do everything we can, because just back to the money aspect, I mean, this means so much to our community. Every person that's not counted is between $20,000 and $30,000 over the next 10 years that we won't get. You know, it's a huge investment, or it pays off for anything we invest right now. I don't know that we need extra money for the things that we're planning on, but we may. Through these meetings, through future meetings, people may come up with some good ideas that cost money, and I don't think we'll work however we can to get it, because it's such a great investment for the community. It pays off so many times over. Right now we're doing fine, but we may need to talk to both the city and county in the future. So that's the prepared remarks. And now I would like to know if anybody has anything they want to add, any ideas that they have about how we can get the word out and the numbers up. I'm not sure how to do this in an orderly fashion. I don't know how many people we have on. I think you can raise your hand if you have a comment, but feel free to jump in. Anyone have anything they'd like to add?
Yes, I have a comment.
Yes, sir. Who is this?
This is Winfred Williams.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Yes, sir. Okay. I have a suggestion. We need to explain to the people and tell them. I know people have said, but the significant and the historic importance of the census and how it affects things of the nature. Like, for example, can I give you a historical situation about over 100 years ago?
Okay.
Okay. During the Civil War, everybody here has heard of the March to the Sea, correct?
Sure.
Okay, you've heard the March to the Sea?
Yes, sir.
Okay, AKA, BKA, the Savannah Campaign. Okay, during the Civil War, General Sherman used the census data as the foundation for that campaign. And that, because of the census, is why we have a United States. Because that campaign was the most significant campaign or battle of the entire Civil War, because it turned the tide toward the Union. So what we got to explain to people is how important, and that I think people will understand that significance of that. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, so
I don't know,
how can we turn that into action to get people to fill out their census here?
What'd you say? Okay, what I'm saying is this. The reason why we have a United States is because of the census. That's why we still are a United States. Take away the census and General Sherman not doing what he did, we still be a divided country. That's the point I'm trying to get.
Okay. Well, thank you. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to add about where we can go from here?
Paul, this is Matt Reed, and from an EDC side, we'll be sending out something next week to all of our industries and major employers to encourage their employees to fill out their census. And I'll connect with you through email, but from an Albany CEO, Georgia CEO side, I'll let you know what we need, and we'll do a couple email blasts to our list of business folks and a couple of ads, and we'll do all that at no charge too for the next 6 weeks or so.
Okay, terrific. Well, we are going to be asking people to help out with distribution of materials, to help out on the mobile signups. And you all have committed to being participants in the Complete Count Committee, so we will be coming to you. And we also are going to be talking to the commissioners to help out, because we want to help them, and we will be willing to go to their meetings and talk to their audiences and even do these mobile workshops with them if they choose. But we think that they're going to be excellent choices for trusted voices in their neighborhoods. Okay. So we don't have a whole lot of...
Hi, Paul. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, I just want to thank everybody that's been on the Complete Count Committee since last year, and all the hard work that you all have been doing, you and Ms. Davis as well. And just want to reiterate just the major importance that we all kind of come together and have all hands on deck based on our new deadline. As the mayor pointed out in our last meeting, is that, you know, we have basically less than 60 days, I think, to decide how much money we're going to have for the next 10 years available through the mechanisms of the census. And we really don't need to hamstring ourselves like that. We need to get our citizens, our businesses, just everybody on board with getting this number up above. I'm hoping we can at least get 70% by the time this thing ends in September, and then maybe the enumerators can get it higher than that, because it's really easy now with technology. I did my census over my cell phone. It was, almost probably not more than 6-7 minutes, and I was done with it. So those of us who are technology inclined and do have access to our mobile devices and computers can get that done so very quickly. And if you can help an elder, or if you can help somebody who's not as technologically advanced, please do so. Go out there and find your relatives, your friends, and say, hey, let me help you out with this so we can go ahead and get it done. But thank you for your work. Thank you to the Complete Count Committee. Keep doing a good job.
Well, thank you, Commissioner. And that's such an excellent point. I think when you made that before, I think that really did help out getting younger people to help out older people. I think that's, if we could engage the youth to do that, to get out in the neighborhoods and talk to their elders and help them out. Because I think a lot of older people are intimidated by the technology. It was easy enough to do it by paper, but to do it on the internet is a challenge, I think. Okay. So who else has comments? Bruce, it's unlike you.
Yes, this is Mr. Williams again.
Okay.
This is what I want to say. Was that Commissioner Young?
Yes, it was.
Okay, yeah. If you needed me to come, because I'm on that side of town, if you need me to come and talk with some of the people about the historic importance of it, I'd be more than happy to do that or whatever like that. Talk, just give a little brief thing. You need me to explain to them about the problem with the, during the Civil War, about how significant that was and how it is the reason why we're still the United States. Because that was one of the things, because I worked with the census there 10 years ago. That was one of the things, that's how I managed. I was an enumerator 10 years ago. That's how I managed to get some of the people to fill out their forms. So, to explain that to them, the historic importance of them. Because, see, a lot of people really don't know that little-known American history fact.
Okay. Well, thanks. Thank you, Mr. Williams. Appreciate that.
So Commissioner Young, if you want me to, just let me know something.
Okay. Carrie, are we getting any comments on Facebook? Carrie? Oh.
Yeah, I was trying to unmute myself. Sorry about that. But no comments on Facebook, and we've addressed the ones that have been in the chat so far. In relationship, someone was asking about materials that are available. We do have materials in our office that are available for pickup. I think on the agenda that Paul sent out earlier, there was a list of all the materials that we currently have. Trying to get back there. Yep. So we have window clings, masks, flyers, bookmarks, ink pens, notepads, beads with medallions, fans, and table tents that are available.
Yep. So if anybody, I'm sorry, go ahead.
We just completed a small business grant from DCD, and there was a very large database that was created for us through the downtown manager's office. And I'm wondering, because it has a lot of businesses on that list, and I'm wondering if maybe I can get with Ms. Gaskins and see if we have a flyer or something that we can do a massive email out to all of those businesses about the census. I think that would be a great idea to do that, because people work with each other. We're talking about small businesses, and then we also had the large businesses. So maybe that could be another avenue that we can do to send out a mass mailing or a mass email all at one time regarding the census.
Certainly, that sounds like a good idea. I mean, I think at this point, we need to get the word out as often and to as many people as we can. So I think that's terrific.
I'll get with her tomorrow, and we may send some emails to you to get some information. But I'll talk to her tomorrow.
Okay, great. Thank you. Does anyone else have any comments? Now's your chance.
Carrie, it's Bruce. Is there a sort of a cut and paste on the website, or pardon me, on the Facebook page to use on other Facebook pages?
Yes, you can share anything from our page that we put up.
Okay.
I'm gonna give a shout out to Tanner Anderson at this point, because he's been our Facebook guru over the last few weeks, and we've had increased traffic to our site. We've had increased numbers of interactions. So yes, we have that available. And if you want something specific for a certain population, we can create that for you as well.
Right. And the social media toolkit contains a lot of that information too. But we'll be happy to send out any kind of information that people want. If they want materials to distribute, or if they just want some talking points for the census, we can do either of those. Okay. Well, I don't want to prolong this. I do appreciate everyone's time, but we need to continue the momentum, and we need to keep you engaged, and we need to keep the people who are not here right now, we need to get them back on the meetings, because there were a lot of people that started out on this committee. We sent out a lot of invitations, and I do appreciate greatly everyone who showed up, but there's a lot more people who are not showing up. So we need to get people engaged, especially the community, especially the hard to count areas. And we're doing that. And we're going to ask you for your help coming up in the future. So thank you all for being here. Mayor, I see you unmuted. Do you have something?
I have one quick question to ask. Would it be possible if we did, or safe to say if we did like drive-through census check or stops or something at the high travel locations or different locations throughout the city, to get people just to drive by and complete census on iPads with the safety measures for COVID?
Well, we're kind of doing that. We're setting up mobile locations around the community, and we're going to have one at the Civic Center. We're going to have them at a variety of locations, or it'll travel to different locations. And the point there will be to capture.
I had actually asked about that before, but I think it's a issue with actual privacy. So unless you're an enumerator, you will probably need some type of other, I don't know, form or some type of designation to, kind of collect that information, because it couldn't, I think it'd be problematic just to get like volunteers, to do that unless you got some type of, waiver about the data collection, because the enumerators are work for the census. So that's kind of the issue with kind of having a drive-through collection type thing, or just anybody just saying, oh, let me do your census for you. You would need to get a clearance or something from probably that individual to say that, okay, I'm allowing this person to collect my information. But that's my 2 cents on that matter.
Well, that's very true. There is a lot of privacy that surrounds the census. But the Census Bureau does have people that they will send out to collect data at an event like that. And we are allowed to do it, or we are allowed to facilitate it. We can provide a computer for them to do it on, but we can't do it for them. So we can be set up in a parking lot with computers that they can fill it out on, but we can't do any of the data entry for them. So we can get people there, but they'll have to do it themselves. But the Census Bureau also will participate, and they can do it for them. Mayor, were you going to say something?
Yeah, well, I had a question, but I'll ask, how do we get the number of the convalescent homes? But I think clearly we need to make some connection in the Hispanic community, because I'm sure our Hispanic population is higher than it was 10 years ago. And I appreciate what Matt Reed said, but the chamber members are probably already responded, and we know where we need to improve. And so, this phrase trusted voices, we need to find some folks with influence in South and East Albany. But finally, if you'll send me some talking points, I'll mention the census again tomorrow. I don't think probably ain't gonna amount to a row of pins, but I will give it a shot.
Well, I appreciate that. It may not, but if every time we get 10 people to sign up, that makes a difference.
But what I mean is, I think people that watch these press conferences are engaged, and
I agree.
Probably most of the folks are disaffected that are not,
Well, and that's very true. That's very true. But there are still even people who are engaged who haven't filled out their census. I've gotten emails after speaking from regular people that should have filled out their census saying, thanks for the reminder, I just did it, as recently as 2 weeks ago.
Okay. Well, you send me those points, and I got something the other day, and I'll just try to make a coherent pitch tomorrow.
Yep, I'll send you something.
Okay.
And far as the Hispanic population goes, I know for us, for the Boys and Girls Club of Albany, we serve a high number of Hispanic families at our international study site. And so we will actually be doing some things with them on next week. So we could get some material or something, or get to those families there as well.
Great. We will get you some materials in Spanish that you can distribute. And Mayor, to your question about convalescent homes and any kind of group quarters like that, the Census Bureau sends information to directly, like dormitories, group quarters, prisons, and they collect the numbers based on the people who run the place. So those places are very accurately counted. Okay, well, anybody else have anything to say before we shut it down?
Paul?
Yes, sir.
This is Commissioner Howard. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm just getting back in town, and I apologize for being late. But could you just give me the numbers for East Albany?
Well, the one census tract that is lagging the furthest behind is 32.0. But East Albany overall, and even that census tract has come up by about 0.4% over the last week. So it's coming along, and all of the rest of East Albany. Well, let me see if I can share this screenshot this screen real quickly with you. Let's see. Maybe. Okay. Can you? Okay. So this shows the census tracts, and there's only one census tract in East Albany now that's brown. The rest of it is blue, and so the darker the blue, the better the count is. But you can see that East Albany is doing better. We're getting rid of all the brown. There was a lot of brown on the map 2 weeks ago, and you all have done a tremendous job in getting the word out. So it's making a difference. Whatever you guys are doing, keep doing it. But we'll give you some more things to do too.
Okay.
And there's only one tract in East Albany now. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
So the 32%, that's in census tract
Census tract 1, yeah.
Okay. Now, where would that area be located at?
It's just to the east of the bypass, around Thornton, and it's on both sides of Oglethorpe, north and south.
Okay. Okay. Now, can you move the other area in Tillman?
Well, not on that, but I might be able to find it online. I mean, okay. Yeah, the other areas are above 50%. So, I mean, that's not great because we want 100%, but all the blue is above 50%.
Okay. Okay.
And some of it, yeah, some of it's in the high 50s even.
Okay. So overall, we have 57.1. That's for Doherty County, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Well, probably one day next week, you and I, we'll get together and we'll talk about how can we, spike the numbers up in East Alabama.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you heard, but we're going to have some mobile events. We're going to take them around the community. And we certainly would like the commissioners' participation when we're in your areas. And even if we're not, we will be going to different sites around the community where the people are and talking to them about the census and getting them to sign up if they have not.
Okay. Okay. So you let me know next week when that will start, right?
Yeah, certainly. We'll give everybody a schedule and let them know when and where.
Okay. Okay. Well, I certainly appreciate it.
All right. Well, thank you.
Okay.
Anybody else have anything? Otherwise, we're going to. Yes.
I'm sorry. The other low area seems to be somewhere in central Albany. Where is that?
That is between the river and, well, it's everything between downtown and the hospital and the river and the high school.
The historic district, in other words.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. I'll see what I can do there.
Okay, great.
And one more thing for people that are watching on Facebook, we are working with some census employees that they're going to make some yard signs available. So if you want a yard sign, you've done your census and you want a yard sign showing that you've done your civic duty and filled out your census form, you could get a yard sign. And also, I guess an event that was being floated was like a census caravan as well.
That's good to know. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. And we will let you know when the next meeting is, but it's going to be soon. Everybody have a good evening.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Thanks, everybody.